Swing and a drive.
Welcome to Red, White, and Blue Jays, the podcast home of Blue Jays Fans UK, a group connecting Blue Jays fans around the UK and beyond, and telling their story. And now, here's the host of Red, White, and Blue Jays, Steve Hunter.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're listening from. It's great to have you back. Welcome to 2022. A new season, new year for Red, White and Blue Jays. Thank you so much for everybody. I know I say this every time, but thank you so much for everybody who's just feeding back and just giving me thumbs up and how much you've enjoyed the first 6 episodes that we did last year. I'm thrilled that we've got a whole load of people lined up coming into 2022. So hopefully there'll be plenty for you to listen into and hear other people's stories. Remember, if you want to come on and have a chat and just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to follow the Jays and some of the memories that you have, please do get in touch with me. All the contact details will be at the end of the pod as usual. Of course, into a new year, just having come through Christmas, I hope everybody stayed safe. We've had a little bit of COVID in and around our family, but I hope everybody else was generally well, and that Santa was very kind to you, and that perhaps you've got a few Blue Jays goodies in your stockings. Love to hear about that as well. Now, to kick off 2022, there is no other family that I can think of that is more appropriate to get our New Year's pods up and running than the Dominguez Shipley family. Guys, welcome. We've got tonight Mike and Sandy and Lauren. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me tonight.
Right, yeah, it's nice to see you.
We've known each other a long time. Feels like a long time. It probably is probably six or so years, I think, if I remember rightly, maybe even a bit longer actually. But I remember I think we first connected across the Facebook group, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that was.
And Sandy, so many you will particularly know because she was our poster lady. Literally and figuratively for certainly one season. But guys, do you want to just give us a little introduction to you, your family, what you're doing in life? I think most people probably know that you're up in Leeds, but yeah, Mike, kick us off. Tell us a little bit about the Shipley family.
I have to say we're up in Leeds. Obviously, our connection to Toronto and the Blue Jays is through Sandy, who grew up in Toronto. We kind of got into it as a family probably since when we started going there on a holiday in sort of 2011. I previously wasn't really interested in baseball at that point. I was into lots of other sports, including other American sports. But until I got there and I kind of had a team to follow and could watch it every night, start to understand the rules a bit more. Hadn't really got into it until that point. But then from that point, it came a sort of a family thing. We'd go back to Toronto and we'd all follow the Jays.
Yeah, I feel quite lucky that our kids really love sports. We're a very sports family. That's our hobby, whether it's basketball or baseball. So for me, it's quite exciting that my kids like to follow something that I grew up with, even though we're not there. And obviously technology enables us to do that even more. Sure. I remember when the games used to be on a Saturday, like at 1 p.m., we'd always order pizza and we'd watch it on TV because it was like 6 p.m. here. So it became very much a weekly thing and we enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you grew up in Toronto, Sandy. What age can you remember your first game that you went to, how old you were? Because I think to remember you talk about the World Series, certainly that you were around for.
I've always been a sports fan, so I was the only one who ever did card trading, hockey and baseball as in school. I was the only girl that did it, so I was always a sports fan. So I would probably say from the age of 6, 7, because it was on TV. And obviously the hype of when we won the World Series just really exploded, and since then I've just followed it even more intensely. But I'm one of those sports fans, like I said to you before, where it's more about the enjoyment of the atmosphere than remembering specifics that happen, unless it's something like the Backflip or something. Do you know what I mean? Where it's very iconic. That's where Mike and I are very different. Do you know what I mean? Like I always ask him, do you remember what happened? And he always remembers, but I don't. So,
sure.
But yeah, it's just always been there. It's always been part of my life in a way. I don't know any time when I didn't follow them on TV or go to a school trip type thing. So,
how old were you at your first game? Can you remember?
I was around 8.
Okay.
8 years old, yeah. And the place looked so much, obviously as you're an adult, it's obviously quite a big place, but when you're small, it's even ginormous.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's so many good memories there. It was always a fun atmosphere for me. And that's why I love sport, because once you're there, you forget about everything that's happening outside. And you just, if you're surrounded by great fans, then it makes the game more enjoyable.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And did you go to the exhibition stadium, or do you only remember Skydome?
Yeah, I did. I vaguely remember it.
Yeah.
My memory isn't very great from when but yeah, it's just one of those that I just enjoy the atmosphere. It's more, meeting with other fans in a school trip type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was about it, really.
Excellent. Now I remember, and I'm trying to. I think it was the 2015 season when you created these A1 size posters, and I remember going across our Facebook group, and you kept putting up these different designs of what do you think about this, guys? What do you think about this? And then there's this sort of whole, I can't remember how many weeks you were out there, because it was quite a long time, where we got onto this whole crazy poster lady hashtag. And we kept it was like it was a new sport that we were trying to spot any of you guys at the ballpark on TV to see whether we could spot you with your poster. And I remember seeing various clips on different games of all of you with your posters. So how I mean, Lauren, can you remember throwing those posters up and stuff? Tell me what you remember of that time. Oh, we've just lost you on the mic. You might need to just be in the middle. That's it.
Talk louder. Just talk louder.
I don't really remember that much, but I just remember these massive things. I used to kind of be a bit embarrassed because I kind of felt bad for the people behind us, getting a massive poster in front of their face.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I remember the most popular poster was the Texas Rangers, when we got a poster for Texas Rangers game, and Texas Rangers fans wanted to take a picture with it. So at one point I didn't have it with me. It just kept on kind of being taken. And then somebody eventually brought it back to me. Right. But it was a bit of fun. I had no idea that people would really take it that seriously, or it would go down that well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a bit of fun at the time. I thought, why not? Just
totally. I mean, obviously with Mike and Lauren perhaps having a little bit more of a British accent than you, Sandy, did the guys pick up in the ballpark that you were from the UK? Was it something that they because it was where you first sort of did a little tinkering with the Blue Jays emblem and putting the Union jacket where the Canadian maple leaf is? Did they pick up those UK?
Yeah, so 2 of the posters had the UK Blue Jays type logo, and one of them, my kids were holding it, and then they got approached by the City TV cameras because they're like, oh, British people, coming to watch the games, etc. So, because even though in those days, I don't think it was very known that there was a big Blue Jays fan base in the UK. So I think it was a bit of intrigue. And then obviously with social media growing and obviously the work that you do, etc., I think it's become more, a bit more aware. And I remember when I managed to get Shapiro to do a video for the fans.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool. I still have it on my phone. I'm like, did I really get it? But he was really nice. So it just, it was just one of those things that, I wanted people to be aware. And that was kind of the idea behind it, is that I want people to be aware that there is such an awesome community of Blue Jays fans in the UK. And that's kind of where a little bit of the idea came from with the posters.
Yeah. And Mike, you were very quietly sitting in the background. I remember on a lot of the photos. with Sandy waving these posters around, and you just that's you get on with it, love.
Yeah. Contemplating the game situation and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Being oblivious.
Yeah, absolutely. So just tell me about your background then, Mike, in terms of sport, because I know just over the years you've mentioned a couple of things in terms of you are very statistically orientated, aren't you, when it comes to sport? Where did that passion come from?
It's always been a bit of a sports nerd, and we've always been a big sort of a game playing family. So I've grown up playing games and being into sports. So the natural kind of combination of those things was doing things like fantasy football and betting, kind of professionally, and that kind of thing. So that's kind of where it came from, and how it manifested. Yeah.
And so how's that sort of tripped over into baseball? Have you sort of is it just an enjoyment now, or is it something you still dabble with?
So professionally, it's not really an option because the bookies don't take my money anymore. But
really?
No. But I still do the fantasy baseball with the guys in the Facebook group. So I have a bit of fun with those guys. But not professionally, not as seriously as I used to.
Yeah. But for me, what I enjoy, like especially with Lauren, is that Lauren has a very numbers mind. So sometimes Mike and Lauren will be talking about like the league tables, all that. And for me, it's quite interesting to watch because I'm completely opposite. Like I said, I'm about just the game and the atmosphere and the moment.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice that in a way, Mike's got somebody that kind of does see things like him.
Yeah.
Maybe not to obviously his level, because he's obviously younger, but to still have that interest. I remember when Pav came over a few years ago, obviously, and she knew so much of the statistics that were on the West Coast and East. And it's like, how do you know who's got the average of 500 on this? She was in like that. So it's quite interesting to see that.
Yeah. I think my son, he's a bit like that. He's always enjoyed, sort of Premier League stats and stuff, and going into to watch the Jays play, and then becoming a very statistically based sort of sport. It just ticked a few boxes for him, and I think it's just one way of enjoying a game, isn't it? We all have different things that we remember, different experiences. So you talk about the Backflip game. I can't remember. Were you there for that game, or were you back?
No, but we were up and we were watching.
Yeah.
Mike putting his 12:30 a.m. alarm clock to. Couldn't miss. Yeah,
because you watch pretty much every game, don't you, Mike? Because you do have a very strict regime.
I did, particularly when the kids were young. So when they would wake up during the night, I kind of got into a rhythm of putting the Jays on, and then even when they weren't waking up, I was still in that rhythm, and I was getting up, and so I'd go to sleep first, get as much sleep as I possibly could, maybe 3, 4, 5 hours, and then watch the game, and then try and get a couple more hours sleep before work.
And that included the Raptors games as well, because obviously at one point, Mike would fall asleep at 8 p.m. or something, and then wake up at midnight, and then have 2 hours sleep before he has to wake up. And he did that for such a long time, for like 4 or 5 seasons. It was just solid like that.
My hat off to you. I presume that's not quite the case now. Then
No. especially with work being more demanding, more intense, and a bit more demanding, and everything else.
What you do find, as your kids get older and they stay up later than you, that's the next season of life, and then they're coming in late just as the game's either starting, and then they're coming in even later when the game's finishing. So you've got all of that.
Steve, don't say that yet.
I'll hold Lauren to that. So Lauren, I know you've got some various bits of Blue Jays merch around your house. Can you tell me about Edwin's shirt that's hanging up behind your dad there? Can you remember how you got that? Just come across. You just come across on the mic.
I remember like something in Canada was happening, like a fire or something. And they're like putting them up for auction, and then I remember like my mum, like we were coming back home, and then she had this box that absolutely reeked, and it was for like four the shirts.
So what happened? The Jays were auctioning a lot of their merchandise to raise money for the Red Cross after the big fires. And the deadline for the auction was midnight UK time. So Mike put I think an auction thing for quite a few jerseys. I think it was 8 in total. And we woke up at what, 7:30 in the morning to say, oh, you won 4 jerseys, and we were the other 4 we lost by $10 each. So we could have had 8. So I was trying to, and obviously that was a thing odd in time. So all the jerseys we've got are from the Mother's Day game of that particular year. And so I told them, look, I'm going to Canada this year for the summer. So could you leave it there instead of posting it to me? Just because obviously we're going to be there like 4 weeks time. And my cousin got it delivered to my cousin's house. And when we opened it, what she was saying is we opened it in the car because we were so excited. And when we opened it, it still had the smell of sweat from the players.
Lovely.
Because you had 4 in one box. When you opened it, it absolutely reeked the car. So, but yeah, we're quite excited. So obviously out of the 4, it's the one that we have in our living room.
Yeah. So who else did you get? Who are the other 3?
Osuna, we got Smoke, and and who's the other one?
It was the reliever got from Nationals. He was there for a season, and
okay,
I'm getting his name.
He's tucked away in the box somewhere.
Yeah,
well, it's all upstairs.
Yeah, it's reverse. So so initially we thought at the time Smoke was really struggling. So we got that one quite cheap, and obviously he turned his career around a little bit after that. Totally. So that kind of went up in our estimation, and then obviously the Osuna one.
The other way.
Yeah. But no, it's pretty cool. We we love sports, so we like to have this one up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you've got some other stuff there. I can see.
Storen, sorry, Steve.
Storen,
Drew Storen.
Oh, Storen. Yeah. I don't remember him.
I think he remembers, like, out of nowhere.
Yeah. So what other merch you got hanging around your house then?
We've got this ball. Do you remember the story of who gave this to you, Lauren? Hernandez. So Hernandez gave Lauren this ball. Yeah. I missed that game because I was at the airport picking up my dad, who came late. So I actually missed that entire game. So she got this ball. We got quite a few because we go for, on average, we do between 10 and 13 games every time we go back home. And we've somehow built a collection because when we go, some of the staff will give us the balls because it takes some, because I think they appreciate that we're doing such a long stint and so on. And we kind of got to know some people, which is quite nice, just to say hello and people know you by name, and just kind of make it more of a friendly thing. But we still have a lot of the balls and everything, we keep everything because sometimes if the Jays are on TV, we will drink from our cups, pretending we're there and all that kind of stuff. So
I was hoping for your cowboy hat. I remember you getting on one.
The cowboy hats are upstairs, but the thing is, because they're made out of that really bad straw type thing, it got so squished in the suitcases by going back and forth that it just doesn't look like a cowboy hat anymore. But it's
I do. I also remember I seem to remember, Lauren, you getting Stroman's autograph on a ball. Am I remembering that right?
Stroman, and so Stroman signed Louis and Lauren's ball and glove and so on, and it was really nice because obviously everyone's shouting his name and whatever, and I remember Louis and Lauren were saying, please can you come, it's actually saying please. So the reason they ended up getting an autograph is that because they asked politely. So it was really nice, just kind of, it was that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
And they're brilliant family memories, aren't they? I mean, when we've taken our kids over, that's the sort of thing that they remember, running the bases, doing all that sort of stuff.
The bases. I remember when that's the one thing we do every year, and I think this year will be Louis's last possibility of doing, because I think it's until the age of 15 or 16, I can't remember. But we've got videos of Ethan the first time he did it, and obviously I had to hold his hand, and those are the memories, because I never got a chance to do that myself. So when I was able to do it with Ethan, I was like, yeah, I'm running the bases, you know. It's pretty cool. And the kids always love that.
So any particular games, apart from, let's put the backflip game to one side, anything that stands out as a family that you've, do you remember that game we were at where it's a particularly tight game, or a really exciting end, big walk off?
We went to Tulo's inaugural game when he joined. We were there.
That's cool.
And David Price as well. So that was pretty cool. Popcorn sales went through the roof that day, I think. But no, that was pretty cool. And that was the first time Ethan, I think, kind of understood a little bit more of what was going on. Like, you know, obviously at his age is still quite small, but I think he got a little bit of an interest. So for him, Josh Donaldson was the player. Like, he absolutely loved him. So we've got videos of him pretending to be him, or for him to want to get the jersey from the dryer because it says Donaldson at the back. So it's so for him, it's those moments for me as a mom. I love them. You know, what about you, Lauren? There one that you remember? What about that one that I missed out because we were losing and I ended up...
So for a game that we actually attended, I think it was 2016, maybe 17. Yeah, probably 16. There was a game against Red Sox where we were losing quite heavily. I think it was something like 6-2, something like that, going into sort of the 7th, 8th inning. Sandy went and took Ethan down to get ready to run the bases, thinking that the game is over. And then Blue Jays came back in the 9th inning and won it in the 9th inning.
So waiting in the queue took forever, because there's like, you know, when you go down waiting, there's kind of I was like, oh my God, is the game going to finish? Oh no, we scored again, and we scored again. I'm like, oh my God, I thought this game was going to end. So it took I waited a long time just to wait till the game finished. But it was great. It was absolutely, that was a good one.
And for anybody who's not been to a game, I think you lot have probably sat just about in every seat in the ballpark. Where's your favorite spot to go to?
Lauren likes the TD. She likes the TD area. Nice. I love the indie action.
Is the free food?
No, there's no free food anywhere. I'll tell you that. So I love indie action seats. I absolutely love that.
Those are the ones right down on the playing field.
Which one do you like?
Probably a bit of traditionalist, so just behind the home plate.
At the 100 level, you know, that down at that.
Yeah, that's where we tend to.
Yeah, so in those rebuilding seasons, we could get tickets quite cheap on StubHub and similar apps behind the base, behind home plate there for relatively low cost. So that's what we did during those years.
And when there's 5 of us, it's a part. You know, it's and that's what people sometimes forget is it's the kids are not as cheap as you think they are. You know, like Ethan, you know, as a child, when he was like 3 or 4, we still had to pay a premium for some of those tickets. But yeah, it's like I said, it's all memories. We only go to Canada once a year. Well, we've been fortunate enough before COVID to be able to go for the last 10 years. And you know, saying to the kids, oh, we can't go this year because of COVID or the vaccines or whatever, to see that they were gutted not to go, kind of felt that actually they love to go. It's not because I'm from there, but they actually love to go. You know, it's part of their history. It's part of the you know, the fun that they've had growing up and memories that you guys have created for them. So totally love the shop, the Jay's shop. It's the tradition that when we get to Toronto, normally about 1 o'clock or something in the afternoon. And then we put our suitcases down and the kids are like, right, can we go to the J shop? And I come back with this big receipt. I'm like, why do we always do this? Because the kids just go wild going, oh, this and that. And but it's the thing, don't we do? We just do that like clockwork. We do.
Well, to be precise, it's Taco Del Mar first.
Yeah, sorry, Taco Del Mar first, and then the J Shop. Sorry, that is correct.
Yeah, and Timmy's for your dessert on the way home.
Correct.
And of course, you've been very kind to us that you bought my Abby her jersey when you were over on one of your trips. So it's not only your own stuff, you've been very kind to get other bits and pieces for.
Well, I remember Pav one year couldn't go, and I said, oh, I'll get you something. So, and he says, well, when you get there, let me know. So I remember doing this, like going, right, what do you like, Pav? Do you want, literally walking around the store, showing him everything so he can see. It's like I was his personal shopper.
Of course.
And about after 20 minutes, he says, oh, I don't want anything. Like, are you kidding me? But yeah, it's if you're fortunate to go, like we are, if we can do anything to try to bring something back for people, we're more than happy to do that. It's, you know, it's the least we can do, just to kind of help people.
And assuming there's a season this year now, you guys are going back out again?
We've got 13 games booked to go.
Excellent. Who are you seeing on that run?
So Red Sox, Texas. Oh, we've got Orioles, I think. And we've got somebody from the that we've not seen. Angels, is it? Are we doing Angels this year?
I didn't know off the top of my head.
Hold on, let me have a look. But yeah, because normally we get Red Sox, always Red Sox, obviously.
Yeah.
Like it's
there's always some AL East.
That's
yeah. But yeah, so we got about 13, which, you know, we tend to do is try, before Lauren started doing Northern Valley, we would always schedule our trip around where we can get the most games, which was quite good because, you know, we know we can get it. But generally this time we're going to do just 3 weeks, is it? Yeah.
And you stay in the most amazing condo, which is literally, you know, 100 yards down the road, isn't it, towards the Air Canada, not the Air Canada Centre now, but in that direction, isn't it? And it overlooks the ballpark and the steam railway and stuff. So yeah, amazing.
So we've got Cleveland, Baltimore, LA, and Chicago Cubs.
Oh, the Cubs. Oh, right. Oh, okay. They've been to league.
So that's who we got. So there's 2 teams.
Potentially Texas at Easter, maybe.
Yeah, because Mike and I might be going for a long trip, a long weekend trip.
Nice, excellent. Oh yeah, so
basketball, Raptors, Maple Leafs, and Blue Jays in one weekend.
So you're not there to see any of your family.
I just hope that the mother-in-law is happy to keep the 3 kids.
Yeah. I'm sure they'd be delighted. Well,
I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, we're hopefully being able to, because I've never seen the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. Like it's never been.
Wow.
Well, because it's always been priced out. And it's always sold out. And obviously the Raptors, they obviously came on site when I was about 13, 14, and then I left Canada temporarily. And that's so I never really had a chance to even see the Raptors play. So to be able to do those 2 in one weekend, and then obviously we've got Texas hopefully on the Sunday, so it'll be quite good.
That'd be fun.
I'm sure not many how many husbands have wives who actually love to go on holiday to watch sports. I'm not really sure what the percentage is.
Well, my wife's the same. She loves sport, and you know, whatever it is, she's happy to go and see it. So every time we've done a trip to Canada, the States, we'll go and see something. So we've not done basketball actually. We've done NFL, we've done MLB, done NHL, but haven't done the basketball yet. I think probably out of the 4 American sports, that's probably my least favorite. But I think, you know, I just never played it much when I was growing up. So
the kids love the Raptors as well. They're quite into, especially after the whole thing. I remember waking them up in the middle of the night to watch the game. That
was amazing.
So so they really have embraced themselves into the sports culture, which is quite nice for me.
No, absolutely. Just as we're talking about different sports, just tell us a little bit about, I'm sure everybody knows in terms of your Wolfpack connections. How did that start? I mean, obviously living in rugby league heartland, you know, it's all around you guys much more than it would be where we are. was that where the passion? Mike, were you a big rugby league fan? Is that where it all started?
Rugby league fan, more of as kind of a secondary sport. I was always more of a football guy, Leeds United, but I always followed Leeds, RL, and Rhinos as well, but more of a secondary thing. And then when Sandy got into it, obviously that gave me license to.
License.
There's only so much sport. There's only so much sport you can watch, isn't there? So then it became more of a family thing. So
So for me, weirdly, even though I've been here for a long time, I never knew about rugby league. I knew there was rugby because in Canada it's rugby. Like there was no differentiation as such. And as you know, I'm always trying to connect Canadians, expats together, and I'm always trying to connect with others like that. So when this new team came about from Toronto playing in the UK, I was getting messages about, have you seen this new team? It's from Toronto, but they're playing in the UK. So when I looked into it, I went to a game just to say, do you know what? Oh, we're free this weekend. Let's go to this game. And it was against Salford. And I had no idea what was going on, but I absolutely loved it. It had elements of hockey, in terms of the gladiator type, very brutal thing, the speed, it was constant. Had no idea about the rules, but I loved it. And it was and it took me a long time to get the rules, but I didn't care. I just learned along the process. And through that, I was bringing expats to the game. So it started to grow that there was more and more coming to the games. Because sometimes when you're trying to meet other expats, it's hard to say, oh, let's meet for a coffee, not knowing what they're like, whether you have anything in common. But because we were there to go watch a sport that we might not be fans of, but because there's a secondary thing that can break up the conversation and so on, it just became really nice, didn't it? It kind of was, for me, that's the element that I loved, is bringing people together through the rugby league. And I got to go to places that I've never been to before. I mean, I'm very much a city girl. So to go into a place like Dewsbury and Batley and whatever, I'm like, where are these places? But actually, I probably met some of the nicest people in places that I just naturally wouldn't go to. And it just went from there, really, just kind of always building that community of expats and others who kind of just want to be part of it.
Yeah. And so how was it when it all came crashing to a close?
I took it really hard, not because of, I think it was more how it happened and why it happened, and the voting and how it, it's hard to explain. So to Ethan, we couldn't tell him for a long time that his team weren't there anymore. And if you tried to explain to a child that because of people voting, we had no second chance at Super League, the kids don't understand that. It's sport is there because of fans, not because of the owners, not because of anything else. So when a team is taken away from fans, like Montreal, it were taken away from fans, and no fans should ever suffer because of the decisions made by other club owners that just had a bit of self-interest. So that kind of was a bit hard. But they're now following the Rhinos. I got them season tickets because ultimately we love rugby league. So the Wolfpack will always have some great memories from that, going to Toulouse and some things, and it's always about those memories, and that's something that they can't take that away.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, amazing. And how are Leeds doing? Where are they performing?
Rhinos.
She's a Leeds United girl. Right?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, so right in terms of rugby league, I was thinking, but yeah,
Super League hasn't started yet. So we went to a pre-season game on Boxing Day, which was good to get back into, and then it starts again end of January.
End of January. Yeah, but what was pretty cool is that I'm sure you've heard of Kevin Sinfield's charity stuff. So his son debuted on Boxing Day. So it was I've never seen Kevin Sinfield play because it was before my time in terms of liking the sport, but to see his son on the field, and he did so well, from an outsider point of view, I could see the love that everyone, even the Wakefield fans, were kind of really saying, oh my God, it's it was really nice to see that.
Sure.
And I think that's a bit I love about rugby league from a fans. It's very community led type thing. So I really enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yeah. And Leeds United, of course, are just above danger zone. Lauren, are they gonna stay up? I think that was a sort of yes.
Absolutely.
She said absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. You didn't pick up on the mic. Yeah, absolutely. Great.
We were at Ellen Road for a big result against Burnley, so that gives us a bit of a gap to them and the bottom three.
Let's hope Bournemouth don't do a swap with you guys, because we're pushing obviously in the Championship, and we don't want to be waving to you as we go past each other.
But I'm a Liverpool fan, so
I know you are. Yeah.
So it's so I don't have anything to worry about.
There you go.
Hey!
Excellent. So back to the Jays then. Give us your thoughts on last year. I mean, it was such a dramatic season, wasn't it? It was lovely to have a full season again. Some amazing performances by many of the players. Obviously, a really close finish, just coming down to that last game.
Close? That is an understatement. That was
yeah. I suppose it's sort of subdued in the back of my memory now. But what were your emotions on that day? Were you disappointed? Or were you thrilled?
Yeah, the season was quite amazing, because if we're talking from a sort of probability statistical point of view,
of course,
2 or 3 weeks before that, the chances of the Jays making the playoffs was maybe 5%, and then they went on that run, and then it was up to sort of 50%. So obviously everybody got their hopes up at that point, and then it's obviously really disappointing for it to be dashed on the last day. But it was really fun season to follow.
I think what it taught me, or what I think it might have opened people's eyes, is that it just shows you how those small margin errors that we've done in those small games that we should have won, that we let go, that could have made a difference. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes it takes a situation like that, because when you tell non-baseball fans how many games there are, there's people go, how can you play that? So because the number's so big, I think we take for granted how important every game is in a way. Sure. And I think what happened last year is that there were games we lost that we shouldn't have lost, or, so that's the thing that really kind of frustrated me a little bit, because I'm like, if we had just won that game, and it was just because of whatever. Do you know what I mean?
I remember in the early part of the season, there was a lot of one-run ball games, which we just were on the wrong side of the result, and they all count. And then of course there was that quite infamous Simeon throw to Vladdy, which was misplaced, and a game we should have just seen out, and then end up losing. And there's just all these, as you say, little things that all mount up to that final position.
A lot of injuries in the bullpen, and obviously losing Kirby Yates for the season, who was obviously going to be the closer for the majority of the season. That's obviously a big blow, and then it just carried on getting worse. And obviously they ended up strengthening the bullpen again, but it was just a little bit too late.
Yeah. But for me, what I absolutely loved about last year was the entertainment we got from the guys, like the jacket. I go to a lot of business networking, and we do talk a lot about sport, because it's just something, as you know, I like. And when I talk about baseball, and they're like, "Oh, I want to follow baseball, but I don't know who to pick." When I send them clips of some of our guys and how much fun they have, people are like, "You know what? I think Blue Jays might be my team, because I actually like that. It's just different." And for me, it gives us so much hope in the next year or two that these guys are building something truly special.
Sure. And
it's not just on the field. It has to be that connection as an individual. Yeah. And I think there's something special. I definitely think there's something really special there.
Yeah. And certainly the home run jacket and stuff was part of that. Sorry, Mike.
I'd just like to give credit to Shapiro and Atkins. I was always an advocate for them when the Shatkins crowd were around on social media. Yeah. And I think they're building something really sustainable, and deserve a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, totally. No, right with you. Where do you sit with Charlie? How do you feel about his role last year, where he might go, what might happen this coming season if we get one?
I mean, you can always pick faults with
Everybody.
decisions, can't you? Especially bullpen decisions and things like that. But, you know, I think the most important thing is that he has created a positive atmosphere in the, you know, in the within the team and in the locker room. So,
especially if the rumors are true that the previous generation that were there had a bit of more of a toxic attitude environment. So if that is true, because obviously there's stories and we never know, but if that is true, to create something like they are now, and his personality enables that, you know, that he is very different to any coach we've ever had before. He is, you know, that Latin side of him or whatever, and clearly is helping kind of bring a bit of fun to the whole environment. And I think that is a person, that's a characteristic that you can't really find naturally in people, you know.
And there's a strong international contingent now, isn't there, as well?
Absolutely.
So it probably helps them feel more at home. And
because Toronto's an international city, so you might as well.
Certainly is. Yeah, absolutely. So looking forward to, you know, assuming we do get a season, where do you think we're going to end up?
It's difficult to say. I think it's probably going to be a bit of a dogfight like it was last season, because the other ALS East teams are no mugs, and they're getting stronger as well. So you know, Tampa is still going to be good. Yankees, you know, Red Sox surprised a lot of people, including me, last year. So you know, if they can repeat that next year, it's just going to be really, really tough.
But then if you think about, the thing is, because we've lost two key players that really impacted positively to the Jays, the question is, how are they going to replicate that? Because if you take those two players out, we clearly, how are we going to make up those numbers? You know, the home run. So that, for me, that's my only worry is, you know, like Simeon, how the hell are we going to replicate or do we have anybody who can provide that kind of support like he has, you know, kind of thing. So for me, that's the only, I don't know, we haven't bought anyone that we are like, wow, you know, and maybe there is a plan behind the scenes, but at the moment I just don't. I'm
pretty sure they'll be signing a big name infielder at some point. He'll either play second or third base. I think that's the weak point for me, is the second, third base positions. You know, as much as we love the sort of Biggios and the Espinals of this world, it's still a weak part of the field. And I think those two will be good in kind of as versatile role, filling in platoon type players. But need at least one more really strong.
Oh, we've just lost your mic there.
Have you? Can you hear me?
Oh, I've got you now. I just lost Mike's last comment.
Just say.
Go again.
Just saying that. Just that final piece, just a really strong, reliable, hopefully big name infielder will hopefully put us in a sort of a similar kind of situation last year, and we can continue to improve
with some good dance moves, because we need more to be proud.
Is that for your TikTok?
No, I might be retiring soon because I think I'm embarrassing my kids too much. So
never let it be said, Sandy. Never let it be said. Do you think we're going to get a season? I mean, that's obviously the big unknown at the moment, isn't it? Do you think they're going to pull it together?
I think there will be, because like the Leafs are playing without fans. You know, I think I can cope. I didn't mean from the COVID perspective. I meant in terms of the breakup between the Players Association and so on. All right. COVID's always in my head at the moment. So
I mean, at the moment, they're a long way apart.
Yeah, the people, you know, the journalists and people with more of an inside knowledge than I do think that they will resolve it. If not by spring training, then somewhere near towards the start of the season. So
let's hope so.
Hopefully they're in the know with that.
Because my view is, I think they would resolve it, because so much money has been lost already. You know what I mean? Like from COVID, that could they really risk having that lockout to then not have, do you know what I mean? So I think maybe it might be a financial thing. They go, do you know what?
We've got to make it happen.
The other thing, a lot of teams have already invested quite a lot in free agents. So I suspect if they weren't confident that there was going to be a season, I imagine that they would have been more reticent and they wouldn't have splashed that cash already.
Yeah. Well, let's hope it happens, because the last time it happened was the first season that I ever sall the Jays play. So,
oh god,
back in '94. So there you go. So I'm fingers crossed that it all takes place. Right. I want to end up this evening getting your thoughts. So these are my little quick fire 10 questions. Do you want to do it as a collective Shipley answer, or do you want to each have your own little stats? We'll see as we go. So who was your favourite player from 2021? Oh, I can't hear Lauren, unfortunately.
Yeah.
She whispered in our ear, Simeon.
Simeon for Lauren. Okay. Mike, who are you with?
It's a difficult one. I like Simeon as well. I like that sort of consummate professional, kind of low-key kind of guy, a bit like Edwin, who just gets on the job but absolutely crushes it. For
me it was Vladdy, because I think he just brought the group together. I think his energy for me is what kind of got the whole chemistry going. So I'm not even thinking about what he did on the field. It's more what he did off the field and bringing everyone together and trying to cheer people up for me, that's why he's my favorite.
Yeah, I'd also sort of say Teoscar Hernandez, because he was there through the rebuilding years. So it's really great to see him thrive as well.
Yeah,
totally.
And he gave us a ball.
Yeah,
he gave us a ball.
Yeah, there's loads of them actually that, obviously Vladdy's the out and out winner in terms of MVP stuff, but I think in terms of team dynamic, it's been brilliant. As you say, all those guys have played their part. Favorite player of all time? Who would you go with?
For me, I will say Tulo, because it's the one that kind of brought the kids really into it. The Tulowitzki and for me that's the player, not even the ones from before where as a kid. For me, as a family thing, for me it was Tulo, definitely.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, for me it's Edwin. He was there at the start when I first started watching, and then he's the kind of player I kind of like to root for. And obviously he was amazing. So I'll go Edwin.
Were you, Lauren?
Definitely Tulowitzki.
Yeah, another Tulo fan. Lots of Tulo fans around. Yeah, my daughter was a big fan of Tulo as well. Favorite non-Jays player? Who have you liked seeing? You've seen a lot of other teams.
Possible.
Is it possible? Yeah. Anybody that you've been impressed by?
Altista doesn't play for Jays anymore, does he?
A lot of people struggle with this one.
Yeah. I'm one of those that I don't necessarily follow other teams or even players in any of the sport that I follow, because my heart and energy is always into whoever. Even when Josh Donaldson left, I didn't even, and he was a great player that I love to follow. I didn't afterwards, because I have not much time to follow everybody else, because we watch so much Toronto teams. It's
obviously Otani's pretty amazing.
It's extraordinary, isn't it? Yeah.
Who's that pitcher that I really don't like in the Rays? He's a pitcher, blue eye. He looks like he's 16.
No,
who is it?
Who
is it? There's one player that I absolutely despise. I cannot.
No, that's not the.
I can't stand him. I cannot stand him because he's so good. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, really? That's probably what I know about other players, is when they're very good against us. I'm like, I don't like you.
Yeah. So your favorite ballpark away from Rogers Centre? Have you guys actually watched baseball as a family elsewhere at all?
Well, it's a plan of ours. On one of our trips, when Ethan is older, because obviously he's just 8, and we want him to really kind of be old enough to kind of cope, is fly maybe to Toronto and then kind of following the team as they go along, and maybe do like New York and whatever.
I've been to the old Yankee Stadium and to Seattle when I was traveling across North America in '99. So that's before I really understood baseball. I was really into it. But I did see Ken Griffey Jr. at Seattle and Randy Johnson pitching. So even though I probably didn't appreciate it as much as some other people, it was a pretty cool experience.
Seattle's quite a nice ballpark, isn't it? Safeco Field. Isn't
Lots of Jays fans. It's Toronto. It's Toronto 2.0.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Skydome West. Brilliant. Okay, your favourite baseball food? Now, you've definitely had a lot of that over the years.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, where do you start? Because we have like a starter, main, and dessert. So, what's your favorite, Lauren?
It's either the ice cream, cause like the hats, or the pretzels.
She loves the
Ice cream or pretzels. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
In the TD Comfort Zone, it had this cauliflower thing.
Yeah,
do you remember what
like
called?
it's like buffalo cauliflower. It's like
a
buffalo
really
wings. Yeah.
spicy cauliflower thing. So I'm vegetarian, so
Okay.
so my menu choice is fairly limited, but
It's changed
enjoy
now.
that.
Yeah. I love the poutine. You know, like at Rogers Center, they have this nice little area now where they have like a fresh market type food stall thing. So I like to go there for a lot of the food. So I like their poutine is really nice with the beef jerky on top and so on like that. So that's really nice. But I'm the ice cream, the popcorn. Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. And it's such a safe environment. The kids just go off and buy more food and I can just sit down now. So that's quite nice.
But that's not safe when you send them away with the cash in hand and
oh no, it's a card. And then it's like, oh my God, why would I just give them a card? But no, it's the popcorn's always popular, always.
And your favorite drink to go with that?
I'm so boring. I always have a double.
Oh, Sandy, you bought in well and truly.
I can't help it. $2 and I get a double.
Always
a beer, right? Yeah, I'll normally take the opportunity to have a beer unless it's really cold.
Yeah, Lauren, what do you have with your ice cream? Fanta.
Yeah. But I remember one time we went to a game and I got them slushies and it melted within like less than 5 minutes. It was like really hot, like 32. And the slushies were in those tubes.
Yeah.
And it melted so quickly. It was liquid before we knew it. So that was probably the most expensive thing I ever bought there because it didn't last at all.
Excellent. Day or night game?
What do you?
Definitely night.
Night game for Lauren. Okay.
Yeah. What about you, Mike?
I don't know, because the day games we take Ethan with us, and it's a bit more of a family affair.
Yeah.
So that's nice in that part, but I don't like it when it's too warm. I'm very British in that way.
Oh my God! Always complain.
The sun beating down on me. And if you get a good night game with a good atmosphere, that's probably my preference.
See, for me, it's neither. It's when it's closed.
Okay.
I love when the roof is closed because it echoes, and I love the echo of the cheer. So when we score a home run, the cheer is like 3 times louder.
Sure.
So for me, even though I obviously like it when the roof's open, there is something special when it's closed, and the whole stadium just sounds louder. I absolutely love that.
Yeah. Okay. So you've preempted my last question, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Your favorite Jays color, jersey color? So we've
definitely not the baby blue or gray. It's a no for me. I'm a traditionalist. The blue.
Okay. Blue. Or
even though I am wearing the red.
You're wearing your Canada red, yeah.
Yeah, I do like the actual traditional dark blue.
The dark blue.
Yeah. I have a bit of aversion to the red because of
the bad luck.
Yeah, it's just rubber. Yeah, I mean, I've got my red cap on tonight. But, they've never played well in the jerseys in the Canada jerseys, have they? So.
Yeah, and a football thing as well. Don't like red in football teams, so definitely one of the others. Don't have a strong preference with the other. I'd like to get them all, really, the other
Yeah.
ones, but not the red. Not the
What
red.
about you?
I'd say a lot of people like the grey. Lauren, what's your favourite?
Probably the white one.
The white one. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can never
We've
have a
got
white
every
one.
color. We've got every color in this house.
Just gets too dirty with my white one. Spill me ketchup or whatever down it. Not a good thing. Your favourite jersey number?
What is it, Lauren?
2.
Oh, I thought you might say that.
It's always been 10 for me, and not just because of Edwin. It's just football and other sports. I've always picked number 10.
Yeah, centre forward through and through. Excellent.
Mine is.
You got 2 as well. Yeah. It's a too low fandom going.
Apparently, I stole her favorite player. I didn't realize there's such a thing.
Yeah, it's going to be a big family argument after this finishes, I can tell. And you've answered the question already, Sandy, but roof open or roof closed? We know it's closed for you. What about you guys?
For me, yeah, I just love the view, and I think if it's closed and there's not a great atmosphere, it's a little bit echoey.
We're clearly very on.
No, if it's loud, it's fine. It's good. But on a Wednesday evening, against Baltimore during the rebuild years, and it's closed, it's a little bit echoey. And
Yeah.
How about you,
But I
Lauren?
do like it open when you see the people doing the edge walk and you see these like red dots. And that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah. What about you, Lauren?
Probably open.
Open as well. Yeah. Open at night or open in the day?
Yeah. I love a daytime.
Yeah, daytime one. Yeah.
Can get a tan while I'm watching the game.
Yeah, totally.
Multitasking. Multitasking.
Yeah, I mean, it is an amazing view, isn't it? When you see the CN Tower and what have you on a clear blue sky day.
And I'm so glad they're not getting rid of it.
Yeah,
I was one of those that I didn't want a new venue because I think there is potential, and it is iconic. It is iconic in the sport.
Yeah.
In the city. And in arenas and stadiums in general.
Sure.
So I'm really glad. What about you, Steve? Are you glad on that, or you were not bothered? Or
well, no. Again, it's more just memories of going to games there. And I didn't follow them when they were at the exhibition stadium, so I've only ever known the Skydome. So the thought of that going, I was like, oh, that's quite sad. But obviously, Red Sox have done quite a sort of redevelopment of Fenway, and of course they've done Anfield here at Liverpool, and have kept an iconic stadium. And so I was really pleased to hear that. I'd like to know what they're going to do and how they're going to improve things. I think obviously one of the big question marks has been about the artificial turf and the issues that causes, and they've certainly improved it from those early days. But it would be lovely to get to a place where perhaps they could get natural grass into the ballpark, and I'd like to get that to grow. The one thing for me about Skydome is you're always going to get a game. And I think particularly for us guys coming from the UK, to spend all that money to go and see a game. We did go to Fenway on one of our trips, and the game did happen, but there was a massive rain delay in the middle of the game. And that's the risk you take when you go and watch baseball, that you get a wipeout, and there's nothing you can do about it. But at least at the Skydome, you can always see a game. So
it is pretty cool watching the stadium opening, the roof going. I really like watching it. It's like it's going, and you don't realize all of a sudden it's like, God, it takes forever, and then all of a sudden it's closed. I'm like, how's it go? It feels like it goes really slowly, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's closed. So but you're right. Yeah,
it's a great place. Lots of memories. So guys, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been always fun to talk to you. I know we've chatted lots over the years, but great to get you down on tape, and I'm sure lots of people will be thrilled to hear about your stories and your memories and bits and pieces that you've done. It'd be great, just give us a few of your social handles. I know, Sandy, you're probably the most prevalent one on social media out of the fact, Mike's nodding. Just tell people where they can get hold of you and say hi. Do
you know what? I don't even know mine by heart. I think it's Sandy D Shipley on Twitter. and something similar like that on Instagram.
Something
But
similar.
Can I just give a shout out to everyone I've met through our events that we've held in Leeds. I will be planning to organize another one this season once we obviously know what the situation is. There are a couple of locations I've been speaking to, so look out if you're in the Lancashire, Yorkshire area. It will be for season opening type game, but it will be sometime hopefully in April or May. So I really missed those events. They were really good, weren't they? You came to one of them, didn't you?
Yeah. Traveled north.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, no, it was lovely. I couldn't understand anything anybody said, but yeah, it was great being there.
No, but you had a good time.
We did. Yeah, absolutely. Had a great time. No, it was really cool. And I think they are fun. You know, I've been to several sort of down here in London and on the South Coast. And they're always good to catch up with, you know, any baseball fan, to be honest. You know, we all love the game, and to be able to get together with other people who have a common interest and a love for the sport is a good thing. And we've had some Zoom parties as well, haven't we, that we've done? And you know, we've
remember that.
And
it was really weird because depending on how you're watching, it was how delayed you were. So we couldn't, it was really just because we didn't realize who was watching like 3 seconds behind. So if we scored a home run, they're like, what's going on? It's like,
I think because Lee Hatfield, who's one of our admins on the Facebook group, is based in Canada. So he was watching it on TV, which of course was way ahead of us. So poor bloke couldn't respond until the last person knew something was going on. So good fun.
Definitely,
guys.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Steve.
Oh, pleasure to have you. And guys, thank you so much for listening in again this evening. Always good to hear your comments and feedback. And don't forget, please get in touch with me if you'd like to come on and just tell us a little bit about your Blue Jays stories. I'd love to hear from you. But for now, we'll say goodbye and see you soon. Bye.
The Red, White, and Blue Jays podcast is a production of Blue Jays Fans UK. If you've got a Blue Jays story to share, let us know. Email us at bluejaysfansuk@gmail.com and follow along on Twitter and Instagram at Blue Jays Fans UK. I'm your announcer, Jim Langton. Thanks for listening.